Good evening. You're watching On the Table live on MyTV, Saluran Berita RTM, channel 123, and on Berita RTM YouTube channel. I'm your host, Brendan Lepol. Tonight we're asking, can the 13 Malaysia plan truly reshape our economy and our future? Will this be the moment Malaysia breaks through into high-income status, or are there still roadblocks in the way? Now, to unpack this, we are joined by Professor Dr. Ahmed Rasman Abdul Latif, Director, MBA Programs at Putra Business School. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. And let's straight jump to the question, Doctor. 611 billion ringgit. I mean, that's a huge chunk. And that chunk is amounting to 430 billion ringgit. Now, this chunk is allocated for development plans under the 13 Malaysia plan. Now, this is certainly, most definitely an ambitious investment. Now, what gives you this confidence, if there is, that the 13 Malaysia plan can achieve what previously, sometimes planned that was not into fruition, and of course, the country struggled with?
Right. There are a few factors that could help the current government to realize the Malaysia aspirasi 2020, 2040, and also this upcoming 13 Malaysia plan. It's one of the biggest allocation proposed in such a plan, and it comes at the time when there were so many uncertainties at the geopolitical global level. But however, when looking at the domestic situation or scenario, we have a stable government, and we have been registering positive economic growth for many quarters now. Our exports still growing, our inflation very low, and our job market is expanding, as well as a low unemployment rate. And looking at the plan itself, is quite ambitious when we compare to the previous 12 Malaysian plan. Last time there were, I think, like 14 drivers, but now we have 27 national priorities, and that's the reason why the allocation was huge enough, because to cater for all the things that we want to achieve. But the question is whether it's just merely a plan, a sweetener, but whether it can really help to address what the Madani economic framework aspire to be, to help the people having a better quality of life, addressing the cost of living. And when we look into all these targets, objective, KPI, so-called KPI, one thing that really stands out in this plan, which is not there in the previous plan, is the transparency, accountability, and also monitoring aspect of it. Meaning that under My RMK platform, they will ensure that on quarterly basis for the next 5 years, that all the things that have been planned will be executed according to the timeline or milestone, and most importantly, to achieve the desired outcome and impact.
Right. Now, talking about the desired outcoming impact, the government is targeting GDP growth of up to 5.5% annually under this plan. So given global uncertainties and the pressure of debt servicing, how realistic is that goal? And in your opinion, what might help make it achievable?
Well, this is not just simply forecast figures by the government alone.
Right.
Even the World Bank, the IMF, had the same view that we still have the potential or room to grow. In fact, Asia-Pacific region will be forecasted or will be expected to grow faster than other regions in this world. And the reason being because we are quite strategically located. Southeast Asian have one of the largest population in the certain economic region, like 600 or I think close to 700 million now. And for the past few years, we have seen Malaysia has been entering many unilateral trade agreements,
right.
RCEP, CPTPP, and the latest one, BRICS. This is to explore as many as possible new trading partners, new opportunities, new market, and at the same time, coming up with a strategy that utilizes our resources at hand, not necessarily the natural resources, but our human capital, attracting as many investment as possible. And this somehow has managed to increase the investors' confidence.
Right.
And we have seen many MOU, FDI promise to be flow in for the next few years. So this all accumulated into the positive prediction that we're going to register positive GDP growth for the next few years.
Prof, some of the significant moves that you just mentioned, and there's another one that is incoming, if I can say that. The highlight, one of the key highlights has got to be is the shift from race-based to needs-based policies. Definitely something significant not to sweep under the rug. So how do you see this being implemented effectively, especially within Malaysia's unique socio-political landscape?
Yes, even though there is a transition toward needs-based rather than race, but that doesn't mean that we are not going to neglect or forego all the things that we have done, especially for the main ethnic in Malaysia, the Bumiputra. What we have seen is actually to ensure that no one's being left behind, regardless your background or your community. And this has been clear from the past 2-3 years in the annual budget, when the focus is, for example, to eliminate the extreme poverty. And this is what the government has done, regardless where you're from. But we want to make sure that no one is in this stage where they cannot have a dignified living. And because of that, when we look into the 13th Malaysia Plan, the work continues, meaning how we can uplift the ceiling as well as the floor to make sure everyone will be able to earn enough salary for their sustenance. But at the same time, there's a room for them to generate higher income through upskilling and reskilling. And because of that, when we're talking about no one is being left behind, this is what is meant when we said focusing on the need rather than the race focus.
Policies, yeah, that's right. Now, Prof, obviously there are challenges up ahead. Now, we cannot take that out of the equation. When it comes to debt servicing, because that takes up more than 15% of government revenue. So how does the plan reconcile with this, with its strong focus on new spending and also investments? I mean, is there like a sustainable balance to be struck, a balance in check? So where are we right now, and what do you think is the plan?
Well, when we look into the level of indebtedness currently experienced by our federal government, is still considerably lower than the benchmark set by International Monetary Fund. Normally, things look very risky when it's beyond more than 70%. But when we look into our federal government debt, it is still sustainable as long as we are growing. Our economy is growing. We have seen Singapore, their debt to GDP is higher than us, more than 100%, even Japan. But the reason why they can still moving forward because of their productivity, their ability to remain relevant in the market. So when we look into our own, this is something that we are confident in doing so due to many opportunities in various industries in the new technology. We also now focus on the green as well as the rare earth industry. So due to all this potential, having a debt can be still considered manageable, given that we are growing in terms of our revenue on a yearly basis. However, we have seen that it is not without care or concern. The government has put a target in the 13th Malaysia Plan by 2030 that the fiscal deficit will be reduced to 3%. And we have seen this in motion. For the past few years, the fiscal deficit has been reduced bit by bit, and the new debt taken by the government also has been reducing. So even though we are not in that high level of indebtedness, but yet we are now moving towards a balanced budgetary, and also as long as the room for growth, we shouldn't be concerned too much about having this kind of debt.
Something definitely the Rakyat can look forward to, especially with the 13th Malaysia Plan. And of course, with our very next question, we would definitely focus on wage restructuring and of course higher minimum wage as well. But we're going to hold that thought, Prof, as we are going for a quick break. And when we come back, there's more to discuss. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Cyberjaya, Malaysia's global tech hub. Through our decades-long DNA, Cyberjaya is shaping Malaysia's tech innovative future. As a global tech hub developer, Cyberview is mandated by the governments of Malaysia to spearhead the development of Cyberjaya as a thriving tech ecosystem. In our role, we help global companies enter the regional market. This is done by offering a suite of incentives to provide ease of doing business. Meanwhile, through our tech programs such as the Living Lab, we connect startups, corporates and talent in validating and creating real-world solutions. What makes Cyberjaya truly special is that these initiatives are backed by strong government support through ministries and agencies, and a vibrant community of early tech adopters. We at Cyberview are passionate about shaping a sustainable and innovative future, and we want to do this with the ASEAN community. Remember, it starts here in Cyberjaya City, where you can live, work, innovate, and play.
And welcome back to On the Table. We are talking to Professor Dr. Ahmed Razman. And Prof, let's head on down to some of the questions that we have for you here on the show. Now, the focus on wage restructuring, before we went on to that break, this is what we left on the table. And also a higher minimum wage for graduates is definitely encouraging and most definitely something graduates can look out for. But in an era of automation and also artificial intelligence, now how do we ensure that this move strengthens our competitiveness rather than weakening it?
Well, this is something that I hope the government will continue to focus on. It's not just the issue of low salary. We still have quite low salary, median around 3,000 ringgit, but also on the mismatch of job, meaning we do have graduates who have enough experience or skills that deserve to work in a job that provide a competitive salaries, but somehow the opportunities are not there. There are not enough job that can provide that kind of salary to our local graduates.
Right.
So the mismatch, I think probably around 30 to 40% that currently are working below what they are supposed to get. And because of that, the need to address the issue is through making sure the industry itself need that kind of workers, the highly skilled or medium skilled workers. And the way to ensure that this is happening is to encourage all these businesses to upgrade their operation through digitalization, automation, reducing their dependency on foreign workers who normally work in the low-skill sector. But when we look into attracting FDI, we also need to ensure that the kind of investment coming in actually focusing on this high technology product or services. And there must be some requirement for technological know-how transfer so that our local can learn to become innovator, can become someone who will be able to command a very high salary. So when we look into human capital, we do have enough graduates or skilled workers. The only thing that matters now is to ensure continuous creation of highly or medium skilled jobs that can provide this kind of competitive salary.
Now, the transition that you just mentioned could be frightening, especially when it comes to small and medium enterprises that may struggle with the transition altogether. And there's also a proposal, which is the multi-tier foreign worker levy, which is meant to encourage automation and reduce dependency on low-cost labor. But how can this be rolled out in a way that supports, once again, SMEs that may struggle with the transition altogether?
Well, when we look again at the 13 Malaysia Plan, there are lots of program initiatives to help the SMEs. Even there's a target to make sure by 2030 there will be at least 5% medium-sized companies, and for them to contribute up to 50% of GDP. So the kind of programs that the government going to roll out for the next 5 years will be the financing assistance, grant, the upscaling, the transition to digitalization, and so many other coaching, mentoring program to ensure that these SMEs will be able to scale up, to upgrade, without affecting their sustainability, because we don't want them to be burdened by all this all these costs, but that cannot survive. But again, the challenge remains, because when we look into the sectors most of the SMEs involved in, is actually in the food and beverages. So of course, we want to see how we can capitalize on this by focusing on the food security, how we can utilize local produce, local fruit and food, translated into F&B, using technology that will attract agropreneur among the youth, and coming up with a high-value product that is good enough to be even exported to outside. So this is the challenge. The support on TVET program especially, to make sure that we fully utilize our young generation, young graduates to contribute to the local, especially on the agricultural and technological industries.
Like what you just mentioned, Prof, that we have the capacity actually. Now, raising the retirement age. Now, this obviously involves the EPF as well. When it comes to a pension-like model, which is definitely a bold step here. In your opinion, is Malaysia's retirement system structurally ready for this shift? And what safeguards need to be in place in order to see this work out?
Well, we probably have to shift anyway, because we are moving towards aged nation. We are aging nation now. Soon we will have a high percentage of those people aged 16 and above. And this will give constraint to our existing workforce, because our fertility rate is already below the replacement rate. We are not going to have enough population to replace the current working people. And this will put additional burden to the existing workforce. Imagine you cannot expand, and you probably have to pay higher tax to provide for the support, the social, the charity, or the health support for the elderly. And because of that, we probably need to look into various aspects of it. In the 13 Malaysian Plan, there's a strategy of increasing the retirement age, but probably on certain sectors, not necessarily on all. And also the introduction of pension alongside the EPF contribution, because the statistics shown under EPF data, the majority of the EPF contributors might not have enough saving by the time they retire.
That's right.
And also, when we look into the facilities, the health coverage for the elderly, all need to be taken care of. Because if we do not do that, again, the government will have to allocate a majority of the expenses towards that. And then when we look into the workforce itself, I think one of the minister or one of the politicians mentioned, can we get them to go into the job market faster than now? So to help support the productivity and also help them have enough saving for their retirement. All these things, I think, we have to look into because we are not going to be sustainable nation if we continue with the current way of doing.
Yeah, it's interesting that you brought that up. It was mentioned in Parliament that a particular student reaches until maximum studies of Form 4, 16 years old, so that they would enter the workforce earlier and then they could start to grow and contribute to the economy and, of course, raise up the GDP. Now, coming back to AI, Malaysia is placing big bets on AI, and definitely innovation as part of its one of its key drivers of growth in the next chapter. Now, at the same time, there's the Made in Malaysia push. Now, this is, of course, to boost our understanding on the Global Competitiveness Index. Now, how do you see these strategies coming together?
Well, we cannot stay put. We cannot say we want to focus on other things. This somehow going to be part and parcel of our livelihood, whether we like it or not. Even in university, we are being affected by that. We might be dinosaur after this. So because of that, when we look into the 13th Malaysian Plan, the main focus, main agenda, the first one that's being highlighted is on the technology and the AI itself. So, and something that really that everyone needs to know, this is the area or the sector where everyone has a fair chance of competing. You probably think that US or China could be the leaders in AI. They will control all the intellectual property or the technology itself. But when we're talking about AI, there is some form of opportunity for everyone. If you have the innovativeness, the creativity to come up with a new solution, new product, you will be able to become a market leader. You will be able to become the inventor and the provider of many kind of services that are essential. So this is something that we cannot take take for granted, and something that we need to ensure that our future generation love STEM, love technology, love science, because whoever control the data, the information, the knowledge will eventually control the nation and also the geopolitical economic of the world.
That's right. Now, Dr. Sri Anwar, the Prime Minister, emphasized that good governance as the key to ensuring that in all of this that we just mentioned, the 13th Malaysia Plan stays on track and meets its objectives. Now, in your view, Prof, how critical is oversight when it comes to monitoring each step, when it comes to implementation as well? And what would effective oversight actually look like in practice?
Well, I'm teaching governance in my class, and this is very important because you will find out that one man, one person can bring down the whole nation, can bring down the organization due to, no one dare to stop the leader from doing all the, unethical things. So because of that, good governance, transparency, accountability is very important. And this is also one of the main focus in the 13th Malaysian Plan, with a proper platform, structure, committee and task force to ensure that there will be less leakages, less wastage, and also hopefully no more corruption in the government process in distributing and helping people to achieve the objective of our aspiration.
Now, Prof, you mentioned as well that inclusivity remains one of the key roles and criteria in order to make sure that the 13 Malaysia plan stays on track. You mentioned earlier in the show. Now, to achieve high growth and obviously high value investment, this plan also places strong emphasis when it comes to inclusivity and equitable state-federal relations, just like Sabah and Sarawak being developed as sustainable energy hubs. I'm just wondering, what's your take on this?
Well, united, we strong.
United we stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That if we doing something that just benefiting ourselves, we will not be able to push forward as a force to be reckoned with.
Right.
We have seen during the Asian countries dealing with US, especially when discussing on the tariff, reciprocal tariff, when we try to negotiate individually, we somehow will be subjected to whatever the US wanted. But when we come together as a nation, we can actually bargain for a better term on our part, even though not necessarily what we really want, but at least there's some in between. So when you look into the nation itself, we have Sabah, Sarawak, and all other states. The need to be having identity within the state itself is good. You need to be proud of where you're from, but it shouldn't be overshadowing the fact also that you are actually one nation, one Malaysia, where we want to be helping and prospering together. If we want to think that, if we are thinking that we can survive on itself, just look at the whole world situation.
Exactly.
When many countries being broken down, no one actually benefiting from that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prof, for all the wonderful insights that we shared with us. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. And that wraps up this week's episode. Now, we've been talking to Professor Dr. Ahmad Razman Abdul Latif, Director, MBA Programs from Putra Business Schools, discussing Malaysia's next chapter, the 13 Malaysia Plan. Now, a repeat of this episode is made available for viewing on Berita RTM's YouTube channel. Till next episode, I'm Brendan Paul, signing off. Take care.